What's going on, Sky Squad? I see y'all in the building today. How you doing? TGIF. We are back in the building, and we got to talk about some things. We got to talk about this whole FALYNN situation, the fallout from FALYNN. Woo! We're going to get into it. First things first, I do want to tell you guys that I was lucky enough to catch an interview with Adam from Up and Adam, who, of course, facilitated and hosted the interview with FALYNN. We chatted on Tuesday of this week. The podcast is up now. It's in the link in the description down below, so you guys can check it out at your leisure. Such a great interview. We talked about the FALYNN situation, but we also celebrated him celebrating his 1-year anniversary on YouTube. We reflected on our time recapping Salt Lake City and our plans to do so again for season 2. So hopefully you guys can check that out. And this interview I love it because it's a celebration. We also get into the tea about the FALYNN interview, but we also talk about some other things that we have going on and that he has going on. So it's a great listen. Check it out in the description down below. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and shout out some of our people who are watching. Y'all know I likes to know where y'all are watching from, so I can shout y'all out, okay? So we got Connecticut is in the building. We got Jamaica in the building, in the house. Come on, Baltimore is in the building. We got Arizona. Who else is in here? Richmond, VA. Fun fact, I used to live in Richmond, Virginia, okay? Used to live in Richmond, Virginia, and I used to work at Bank of America back in the day, but that's a long story. We got Durham, North Carolina, Baltimore from right up the street. We got Belgium in the house, Louisville, Kentucky, DC, Northeast. Come on, baby. We got Orlando in the building. I see you 310. I see you 310. Lansing, Baton Rouge, DMV on this rainy Friday. That's why I got this hoodie on, y'all. It's raining outside. West Palm Beach, I wish I could be there right now. We got Nairobi, Kenya. Actually, I wish I could be there right now, okay? That's where I need to be at. Columbia, South Carolina. I see London. I see you. I'm going to see you guys in December. I got a long layover in London. Adam is in the place to be. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, Adam. And thank you so much for that great interview from last night. Philly, Carmel, Indiana, Amsterdam, Turks and Caicos. I need to be there too, okay? I see a whole lot of places I need to be right now, all right? Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and stage dive into some things. First, we're going to get into the news, and we got to recap some things that occurred yesterday before the interview actually dropped. You know, it was interesting to me in the run-up to this interview that Simon, was kind of releasing some information, on his social media. And I just kind of felt like, we don't even know what the interview was going to say about him. And I just kind of felt like he may have, in my opinion, okay, my opinion, and all content is alleged, okay? But in my opinion, I just kind of feel like he may have jumped the gun with what he thought was going to occur in that interview. And I just kind of felt like, certain actions, I felt like he made the situation worse by taking certain actions in the media. Because ultimately, I think maybe he was concerned, and I don't know this for certain, about, how this may affect his businesses and stuff like that. And I don't think anybody really has anything negative to say about him as a business person. For most of us, it just was something that took us all by surprise. And I really don't know what he expected her to be revealing in this interview, but it definitely wasn't what I believe he may have thought. Okay, so as we get into the run up to this, one of the things that I don't know if a lot of you guys noticed was that, she had, FALYNN had released some information, and I'm gonna see if I can share it. Oh, not that. We're gonna get to that in a second. FALYNN had released some information right before the interview dropped, right before it dropped, and I want to pull it up. Let me see if I can get to it. It's no longer on her page. Okay. First, let's address that first. But it's on a lot of other sites like the Peach Report Daily, like the Neighborhood Talk, the Jasmine Brand. A lot of the, major news sites had reposted something that she posted yesterday. And when I went back to check her page today, it wasn't up there anymore. So I guess she decided, to go ahead and take it down. And honestly, I can understand that because with the release of the interview, I felt like she said everything that she needed to say. And I felt like she really deaded the situation. I felt like she closed the book on this for herself and for the fans as well. But we'll get into that more in just one second. The first thing I would have to say is that when she posted this bit of information right here, it appears to be a text or something, maybe, as the Jasmine brand says, and I quote, appears to be an alleged message sent to her rep from Simon's rep saying that she should release a statement denying that she thinks that he was unfaithful during their marriage. Okay. Then she also shares what appears to be an alleged text from Simon saying that he hired an attorney that will go after her liquid assets. So you guys can read that for yourself right here, but that's the gist of what these messages say. Okay. Now, I have to tell you guys this. I, in general, do not like when people release text messages, mostly because I just kind of feel like they're between two people involved. But I feel like she did so in this case to maybe sort of give the public an idea of what she was facing in the background with this situation. Okay. And I just kind of feel like this message, if it is indeed from him, because again, we have to say all content is alleged, but it doesn't paint him in the best of lights. And I felt like he just made the situation worse. What should have probably happened here in this situation is, in my mind, if I were him, what I would have done was simply waited until the interview aired. And then if something was said that I felt like was untrue, then I would have addressed it with her then, privately or publicly. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I feel like he is a busy entrepreneur, multimillionaire. Why does he even, I don't understand why he's even concerned about it. He's moved on. He's got other business ventures. Like at this point in time, it's like, player, you winning. So why is her telling her story such a big problem or an issue when she kept it so classy in this interview? She kept it classy. She kept it peaceful. She didn't say a negative word about Porsha. This was really a real interview about her journey. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I just felt like, all of this was really kind of unnecessary if this is to be believed that it is to be from him. So with that in mind, she did have one parting thought before the interview went up. And her final message was, they tried to damage your reputation. You saved theirs by not telling your side of the story. Now, remember also, too, it had been alleged that she was expecting as well, which wasn't cleared up in the interview, but that did not come out until after the trailer for the interview. So that's an extra added layer that was revealed after the interview was already shot, from my knowledge. Okay. So no word on that, but that was an allegation that was levied against her. Right. So we also have, and I also want to point this out to you guys as well. Okay. We also had another, give me a second, guys. We also had another piece of information come out, and shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for capturing this bit of information. And it is from Mr. Jalen Banks, who has become a lot more well-known due to this whole situation. From what we understand, he was being accused, allegedly, of having some type of affair with FALYNN Guobadia, okay? And so he posted a message, or he released a statement basically indicating that this morning he received a formal demand for retraction from Mr. Guobadia's attorney that states these false statements taken collectively convey to the average objective reader that Mr. Guobadia is dishonest and was derelict in his duties as a husband, provider, and father, and as a factual matter, which have cast him in a false light. I personally don't feel like anybody felt like I don't feel like anybody felt like that about Simon. I don't feel like anything that had come out about him, about the situation, painted him in a negative light as a father, as a business owner, as a husband. I just kind of feel like, we're really more or less judging how Simon has been responding to the situation more so than the act of him getting with Porsha. You know what I'm saying? So nobody was in my mind, to me, I don't see it that way. And I still don't see it that way. Nobody is judging him based on those things. But to continue, okay, this says they would like for me to release a statement that apologized to the public. Let me tell y'all something. I refuse to apologize for a single thing. You allegedly made false statement. And again, I added the allegedly, okay? False statements against me. I find it comical that Simon Guobadia is allowed to create a false narrative of anyone's character he so chooses, but when the truth is spoken upon him, thus in order to defend myself, he reacts. I'm going to tell you this, Simon Guobadia, don't persist with a task if the pressure of it is too much for you. Please refrain from making these false accusations and defamation on my character. Now, I didn't expect this bit of news, and shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for picking it up. And, for me, I literally saw this right before I was about to go live, and I had to, add it in for you guys to sort of see it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if a person is throwing out allegations, then the other party who is about has the right to respond. And it feels to me like the Jalen guy was simply responding to the things that were being said about him. And what it sounds like to me, and I don't know this for certain, is that maybe Simon did think that there was something going on between, this young man and FALYNN. Maybe he did, and so maybe that was the reason why he filed for the divorce. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the case may be, but those things have definitely come out. We got a super chat here from Dan Tucker who says, Simon's true colors show each time he thinks he's proving something. It just goes to show money can buy them lies he's telling too. And again, we add allegedly to that. Thank you, Dan Tucker. We have another one from Robin Carter who says, hey, DJ, are you planning to vlog your future trips? That would be nice to watch. Let me say this. I have been getting all the way into Q's trip to Tulum. I love it. And just to answer you guys' question, I'm at this crossroads. I have some other content that's not news related. It is more personal stuff. I don't know whether or not to put it on a new channel. Q was just like, put it on this channel, and just, people that don't want to watch it won't watch it, and people that do will. So to answer that question, I have some stuff already ready for you guys. I just haven't decided whether to start it on a new channel or to put it on my other, that vlog channel that I did my trip to Dubai on. A lot of you guys may remember that who are OGs to the channel. Anyway, so that's to answer that question. I have some stuff ready. Yes, I will. And we'll get to it later. Okay. Glenda Dodson says, I'm not there. All a scheme. Stay woke. Thank you so much, Glenda, for that super chat. So with that being said, what we're doing here and having these conversations is not to paint anybody out to be the bad guy. And I know sometimes that can be a little bit confusing, but at the end of the day, I just feel like maybe he misinterpreted what she was going to do in the interview. Okay. And also to point out something else, we had some more fallout issues. Okay. We had Latoya Ali who commented on the Peach Report Daily when they posted the clip from the interview. And in the clip, and we're going to talk about it, how FALYNN, allegedly felt used by production after season 13. Latoya commented if lying to stay relevant was a person. So, she here accuses FALYNN FALYNN of lying, okay, and for trying to stay relevant. For me, I just feel like what I will say here is, everybody has a right to tell their story. And I do feel like when it was LaToya and Adam in the news, she took to her YouTube page to talk about it as well. So I just feel like this is another situation where everybody has the right to tell the story from their perspective and give their own personal experiences. And the cool thing about that interview that she did was that she took the high road in that interview. She essentially, and I'm going to get to it, but I just, thank you so much, Tiara says, I agree with Funky Dineva, just put it out there, love, 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 and God bless. And so maybe I'll put one up here and see how it does and see what you guys think about it or whatever. It's just, I love creating stuff. I love creating content, but we'll talk about that later. So I just kind of feel like LaToya, I feel like, when you had your opportunity to post about, the things that you were going through in the situation with Adam, people watched your videos and listened to it. So I felt like just show FALYNN the same courtesy. And that was part of the reason why I felt like it would be very interesting to have FALYNN back on the show, because, FALYNN is close to Kenya, and then LaToya and Kenya's relationship is kind of up and down, but it would have been interesting to see how Kenya navigated that relationship. So, but we'll talk about FALYNN potentially coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta right now, because we're going to get into the interview and I'm going to tell you guys what I think about it. As you guys know, I have worked with Adam before when we have reviewed Salt Lake City. And, I personally feel like I liked the style of the interview, because when you are talking to someone about such a sensitive topic, you need to, and this is just my personal opinion, take your time with it. And you need to allow the person the space to begin to feel free enough to really open up to answer the questions that you really want to ask, right? So for me, it's about nuance at some points, and not just, let me just get the tea and get the tea and get the tea. But everybody has a different format that works for them, right? But I appreciated this interview because I felt like it was like a conversation between two people who actually knew each other and who felt comfortable having a tough conversation. One of the things that we found in this interview was that she did feel like she was used by production with regards to her time on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because of some things, I guess, that happened in that episode where she kind of went off. Y'all remember this part. So my philosophy on this is, and I will say this, and this is a word of caution to our good girlfriend, light-skinned Keisha, okay? Because word on the street is that she'll be appearing in either a friend or a guest role. I'm not sure. But what I would say is this. You have to be very careful when you come on these sort of reality shows that have a set cast of women who, for lack of a better term, are OGs in the game, right? And so what I mean by that is that a lot of times on some shows, and Atlanta has been doing this in the past couple of seasons, is that the drama is really sometimes, or a lot of times, centered around a friend or a guest that comes on this season, because the ladies who have been there the longest really aren't interested in getting down in the mess. But those OGs are marketable faces for the brand. You have Kandi Burruss, you have Kenya Moore, you have Cynthia Bailey, you have Porsha Williams. You have these ladies who we all know and love, who really, for the most part, with the exception of Kenya, because Kenya is willing to get in there. You know what I'm saying? And some people may like her or not, right? For that. But a lot of times, if you look at last season, it was Giovanna. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, and we also had Tanya, who this has happened to. You know, these friends who aren't full-time end up becoming the centerpiece of the drama, because it then sort of keeps the ladies who have been there for a while, it keeps them, you know, kind of looking pristine and in the clear and whatnot. And so I feel like if FALYNN feels used by production, it's probably because she may have been used by production. But it's also about what you allow yourself to become a part of, right? You know, in the interview, she talked about how there was a sort of racial slur used against her. And I'm not going to repeat it here because I don't like to use that type of, I don't like to use those words even as an example. But I do feel like, she was probably pushed to her breaking point. But I also feel like, and in the interview, she said that she had learned from a friend on the show, and my belief is that it might have been Kenya, but I don't know for sure because she didn't say, that she would not be asked back this coming season because what she did was not a good look for the network. Okay. And, I found, in my mind, I'm like, now we've seen all types of crazy altercations on this show. Remember the pillow talk party? Everybody was asked back after the pillow talk party. The pillow talk party was a mess. Okay, it was a whole big hot piping steaming mess. So in my mind, I feel like, at the end of the day, FALYNN had a real momentary lapse in judgment when she was grabbing for the golf club. I do think that it's really up to the network whether or not they want to show that, as to whether or not she would really be a good look or not. They can choose to save a person if they want to. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't. So I don't know, but I will say, I do think that you have to be very careful about appearing on these shows as a friend. I see thank you for the super chat, Grace Greenleaf. No, I am not, because I just kind of feel like I don't think that there's anything else that I would be able to say that would change the scenario. And I'm all about healing, and I want everybody to win and do well. That is it. We have one singer who says, what happened to FALYNN when they went to South Carolina? She arrived and said she and Simon were staying in their own home, and we never saw her again on that trip. Honestly, I don't know. She never really said. We basically also got a situation that occurred between, she talked about her marriage a lot and what went wrong in the marriage. And from what it sounds like, she doesn't know. Okay. She doesn't really seem to know what went wrong. And we got a picture of a woman who seemed to be really intent on trying to fix it. And from what I gathered from the interview, it seems like she was blindsided by that whole situation. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate. We had another super chat in the building. Says, Truly Ashanti says, of course, want to hear you're saying, is it me, or did FALYNN look like she was fake crying and she knew the marriage was ending before the drama? We got another one from Latricia Spinks. Thank you so much for the super chat. We got another one from Antoinette Turner. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. So yeah, I mean, I felt for her as I was watching that situation. I really felt like it seemed like she didn't know what was going on, and her main objective or her main concern was really for the kids. She really wanted the kids to be okay. And she really felt for the fact that she wouldn't get to see the kids again. And I think the part that maybe Simon may have been most concerned about was what we saw in the clip about her saying that if Simon doesn't want to get caught, he won't get caught, or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. But what that was really about was a therapy session that they had, in which case she was asked whether or not she had cheated. She says that she never cheated on Simon. So she basically diffused that situation. And she also said something to the effect of, she also said something to the effect of him. That's how he responded to the question. If he does not want to get caught, he won't get caught. She didn't know what that meant. Okay. And she doesn't elaborate on it. She does not blame Porsha for the situation at all. She says that she's not going to give anyone that power. And when asked, I mean, she really said that she felt like she wanted, above all, if nothing else, she wanted for Simon to be happy. And if that meant for him being with Porsha, then that's what she wanted for him. And I just thought to myself, I was like, I was really here for that. I was here for her answer. Antoinette Turner says, I watched the interview and she was very authentic, showing how hurt she was in the blind when he filed for divorce. Yeah, absolutely. I just felt like, you know, it seemed like she just didn't know. I believed her. I mean, that's how I felt about it. Isata, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, Richie, have you heard anything on R. Kelly? Yeah. So listen, I have not heard anything about R. Kelly, to be honest with that. On that question, I was looking for the next super chat as well. So I guess the only thing, and again, she mentioned nothing about expecting a child, which had been put out there in the media. So we don't necessarily know what that's about, or if there's anything to that. So I don't know. But what I can say is, with the way that the interview ended, with her talking about how she was going to be changing her name back to Pina, I think it's Pina. It was clear that she had an ironclad prenup, as we could probably tell. I really felt like, truly, you know, in my mind, initially, I had hoped that we would hear her tell her story also on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But in finding out that she won't be asked back, which she doesn't elaborate as to why that is, other than that she wasn't a good look for the show, allegedly, according to her source. I wanted, at that moment, I felt like reality TV is not for her. I felt like she is not meant for that type of show. She doesn't give me that vibe. Santene, excuse me, says she did a good job controlling herself. She didn't give either one of them power. She took it all away in one sit down, but I was left with a lot of questions. Yeah, I mean, I think I still have more questions too, but I liked how she ended it. And I felt like this interview, exactly, as Sato says, FALYNN did well in the interview. Very proud of her. I felt like this interview provided her with closure. It was an opportunity to close the book on this subject. And I felt like, again, as I stated earlier, this was her opportunity to dead the situation. And I feel like she did so with class and with grace and with elegance. And I like the fact that she did it with Adam. And the reason why I say that, and I said this to him in our podcast interview, you know, they had done an interview prior to. I know she's probably done other interviews, and I just maybe don't know about them. And I'm quite sure they're out there, and that is no disrespect to any other content creator. But I know that she did an interview with him before. And so to me, I feel like it was only right that she go back to someone that she knew and that she trusted with the conversation, given that it was going to be so heavy. So I liked it. I really liked it. I felt like it was good. It was good. Lethel Jenkins says, I believed her. Her pain seems to be more about the closeness with the children. I felt that. Also, I wonder why the question of cheating wasn't asked. Well, it was. She said that she did not cheat. Okay. And then she says she never responded about whether or not she felt like he cheated. So I don't know. But that was the interview, guys. I mean, you know, from as best as I can see, I would wager to say that this story and this chapter could be closed with regards to FALYNN, and hopefully she's able to move on with a clear conscience and just sort of, you know, close the book on this chapter in her life. And then for Simon, I feel like, you know, I think that hopefully the way she responded in that interview quells any sort of discussion about whether or not, you know, she was going to be trying to say something that was negative about him or not. And then he can also close the book on that chapter of his life, because clearly he's already moved on. You know, he may have been hurt in that situation too. However, it's time to move on. You've already gotten your next fiance. You're still doing your business, you know. And then the guy Jalen, I would say just leave him alone. That's my thought on it. Leave him alone. Let him grow and be in peace, and everybody just move on. That's how I see it at this point. But we'll see what happens next week, y'all. It's Friday, so you'll never know. You never know what the week will bring. California Cutie says, I like that she says she is a spiritual gangster. That will definitely help her in the future. I think so too. I just want to say a shout out to everybody who was in the chat today. Thank you so much for tuning in and chatting along with us as we sort of reviewed this topic. And, you know, hopefully there's some healing that can happen with everybody as they begin to move forward. And, you know, we can just see what happens. I will say this to end, though. You know, I feel like I think a lot of the concern for Porsha has been in the past that we have witnessed her move too fast with relationships, with sort of Dennis being the prime example. And we just don't want to see her rush down that path again, because we do fear for her, you know. And so time will tell. Hopefully everything works out for them and they go on to be one big happy family, but we will definitely be watching. With that being said, y'all, I want to send a shout out to everyone who watched today. I absolutely love y'all. If nobody has told you today, someone does love you, and that someone is me. And I guarantee you, if I love you, somebody else does too. So with that being said, guys, enjoy your Friday. Stay out of the rain wherever you are. Cozy up with a good book, watch some TV, and relax and enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you guys in the next video.